Hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to those of you who subscribed or have been following along, and for those of you who are new, welcome. Last video I put out was a college decisions reaction video, so I showed you guys what colleges I made it into, but this video is going to be me telling you my thought process and how I decided to commit to the college that I will be going to in the fall. I decided, instead of making cupcakes like they do in a lot of videos, to make my little logo holders into smoothies because I am outside and I felt like if I made cupcakes the icing would slide off, and so smoothies, I froze them and they'll just melt, and so that's great because then I can drink them after and they're the perfect consistency. I roughly tried to make them match with the color of the logo, but as you will see, they're not very close. I had a limited amount of resources available and, you know, I did my best. They're all different colors though, so you get some variety. So, what college did I take out first? The first was actually Northeastern. I took out Northeastern first because the NU Bound program was just really off-putting to me. When I applied, I specifically said I would not like to go abroad my first year or first semester, and they put me in the NU Bound program anyways. I didn't really want to go to Mills College in California for a year before I went over to Northeastern's campus, and I had heard there were a lot of issues with the NU Bound students integrating into the actual school. A lot of them said they didn't really feel like they belonged ever, or in the case in the past, there was housing issues where they couldn't find housing or weren't guaranteed housing. I did get the Dean Scholarship, which is great, but all things considered, it was definitely one of my more expensive options, and because it wasn't, you know, the ideal path that I wanted to take if I went to Northeastern, it ended up being the first to go. The next college I took out was Mizzou. I took out Mizzou because Alabama would offer all the same benefits, pretty much, of Mizzou, just in a more exciting location for me. I've lived in Columbia, where Mizzou is located, for a big portion of my life, 11 years, and I've actually taken classes at Mizzou since my sophomore year of high school, and so to me, it was something that didn't excite me, and I want college to be an exciting new thing for me, and I just didn't think it would provide that. So with that being said, the next college that I took out was the University of Alabama. Well, it would provide me with a full ride, unlike these colleges, and would provide me with a lot of amazing resources. These colleges would provide me with unparalleled resources and opportunities as well. And to be honest, going to Alabama, while it sounds better than staying in my hometown, didn't sound great. And I just would get so many things at these other colleges that, you know, it just ended up being, I guess, the worst of the best. And then it got even more difficult. So here I have to choose between an Ivy League education and med school, which is super difficult to choose, especially at 18. And so to kind of explain this more so, I am going to go through the pros and cons of each school. Hopefully that will give you guys more insight into my process. We are going to start with the pros of Dartmouth. I have not traveled a lot growing up. I traveled to vacation in Florida, in Cabo San Lucas, a couple times when I was really young, but that's pretty much all I've been. I've gone to a couple places to visit colleges, but I would only be in the town for a day and then we'd fly back the next day, so I haven't really been anywhere. So Dartmouth would provide me with a completely new scenic location in a completely different part of the country. I'm from the Midwest. This is in the New England area. It would also provide me with an Ivy League education, which basically means, you know, you get the clout and the reputation and all the doors that are open for you because of the name of the school. Another pro is it offers neuroscience as a major, and it would also allow me to finish my mathematics degree because they're so big into the interdisciplinary degrees and options. It would also provide me with a really great community. When I visited, I could tell that everyone there was really happy and actually excited to be there, and that was something that I didn't see at every school, but it was something that I definitely saw at Dartmouth. with it being a college rather than a university, it would provide me with professors that came to this college because they want to teach students, not because they want to publish the best research or, be affiliated with the best university. These people actually want to teach students, and I think that would provide me with something that I wouldn't be getting at other places. They also have a ton of research options available. They have a great study abroad program. I could go on and on about all the pros of Dartmouth, but of course this does not go without cons. Dartmouth ended up being, all things considered, my most expensive option out of all the schools. Actually, 4 years at Dartmouth would be more than all 6 years at UMKC. While it would be great to go somewhere new, it is really, really far away, and so that would probably mean I wouldn't be able to go home for Thanksgiving, and on smaller breaks like that, if I got homesick, I would have to honestly wait until the semester is over to kind of alleviate that, those feelings. I would have to still apply to med school. While they do have a, I guess, guaranteed enrollment program where you can apply as a junior from Dartmouth and get into their med school, that is really selective, and I still would likely have to take the MCAT and go through that process. And for me, the college process of just making it into undergrad was super, super stressful. And so going through that again would be rough. And so now moving on to the pros of UMKC. The first one, med school. I don't have to take the MCAT if I go here, which is an amazing opportunity. I know how stressed I was about the original college process, and so not having to deal with that again would be crazy town banana pants, I can do whatever, and residencies will not care that I was in, Chocolate Society or, the Neonatal Appreciation Society, or anything like that. They won't care, and so I can genuinely do what interests me without worrying about how it will pad my resume, which is a great opportunity. It is also a lot closer to home, so I am about an hour and a half away from UMKC, and so if I wanted to go home on the weekends, I could definitely do that, like if I was homesick or needed something at home or whatever the case may be. And while I do like the rural environment of Dartmouth, I also like the idea of being in a big city. Kansas City is not a huge city, but it's still a decent sized city. And so that would provide me with more of a city experience that I haven't really experienced before. Another thing is, while Dartmouth would provide me with a tight-knit community, UMKC would provide me with an even tighter community. UMKC only accepts about 100 to 120 people every year to this specific program, and you end up living together your first year, have the majority of your classes together, and are around each other a lot. And so this would provide an even tighter community than Dartmouth, which is something I really, really want. I came from a bigger high school where it was harder to find community, and so that was a really big thing for me. Also, all of the classes that I took at the University of Missouri would transfer to UMKC really, really easy because it's part of the same UM system, and they are a little more relaxed on their AP credits that they allow compared to Dartmouth. So that would give me more credits going in, which would definitely decrease the insane rigor of the UMKC program because I have more credits coming in. Another pro of UMKC is I definitely get a lot of clinical experience. From the second week, you start this program called Docent, where you go to a different hospital or clinic and you learn from a medical professional different medical skills or medical knowledge, and so you're starting with the medicine right off the bat, and to me that's something that would be super engaging, make me really excited to be there, and provide me with like the experiences I want, because I want to be a doctor, so starting with it, that's great. It's also a highly ranked school for clinical medical education, so I would definitely be getting the clinical skills. One, I guess, con is it's a little lower on research, but there are opportunities available. You just kind of have to seek them out more. But clinically, great school, and it would provide me with a ton of experience, which would keep me engaged. So that sounds great. Another pro is it's less expensive than Dartmouth, which basically would mean, all things considered, I would be able to graduate debt-free from UMKC, which means I would be graduating debt-free from med school, which would provide me with anywhere to go for residency with a lot more financial mobility, which is an experience that, nowadays you really have to consider because the climate is bad for economics in general, and student loans would be very stressful, and knowing my personality, I would be extremely stressed out about them. Another pro is my parents said if I go to UMKC, they would give me a cat. they would like buy me a cat when I move into my apartment my second year. And I love cats, genuinely. I've already thought of names if this is the route that I choose. Now on to the cons of UMKC. Like I said, it is a very rigorous program. You're finishing 2 years faster, which means that you have 1 summer off. That's it. Then every other summer you're taking a summer semester, and that does kind of mean you're all year round, but also not, because you do end up getting breaks, but still a lot of school time. With the rigor of the program, it means that you take a lot of credit hours for your first couple semesters, and then you end up going to med school, which still makes you end up taking a lot of credit hours. A con is the rigor of the program kind of makes it so you're more likely to burn out. Well, they have put a lot of measures in place now, like counseling sessions that are available and all these resources that are trying to help people stay in the program and stay sane. There still is the genuine possibility of burnout that you wouldn't probably get as much at somewhere like Dartmouth, where you have 4 years to complete your undergrad and then 4 years to complete med school. So that definitely is a con. Another con is it's still not that far away from home. I've been to Kansas City a lot, and while I haven't experienced the college life, I have experienced a lot of Kansas City, so it's not as new and exciting to me as going all the way across the country, so that definitely doesn't make me as excited, but still it's a city, so I mean, pros and cons. Another con is it doesn't give me as much flexibility with my majors. Like I said, I could finish my math degree and do neuroscience at Dartmouth. If I wanted to finish my math degree at UMKC, it would require me taking more credit hours than necessary on already a high credit hour course load. And so basically my only options would be either a biology degree or a liberal arts degree with a chemistry minor. And so I think that's the majority of the pros and cons. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. So which one did I end up choosing? I'm gonna give it a second to add the suspense and to let you guys decide which one you think I'm gonna choose. I actually ended up choosing UMKC for their 6-year BA/MD program. I am super excited to go. Like I mentioned, I have 2 people that I know are going. One of them is going to be my roommate, one of them is going to be my suite mate. So I already know some people. I've already started interacting with my class for this year, and everyone seems really nice, and so I'm really excited about going, and you know, the ability to graduate without debt and have a cat and get clinical experience really early on. All of these things sound amazing to me, and while I love Dartmouth and it was my dream school for much of my high school time, economics are real. The fact that I need, you know, to do things, hands-on things like clinical experience to stay engaged, those are real realities for me, and so UMKC ended up being my choice. There's not a lot of information about it on the internet, and so I decided that once I'm done with my stats video, the content of my channel is going to lean towards like vlogs and information about UMKC, because right now if you look on the internet, you don't hear a lot. And on the few forums where it does mention UMKC for their 6-year BIMD program, you get interesting feedback. There's not a lot of positive feedback, and it's usually from people that were not in the program in the first place. And so I want to give you guys a better idea of what UMKC has to offer, and who knows, maybe you'll decide to apply there in your decision cycle. And so that's it for this week's video. My smoothies are melting, so perfect timing. If you guys liked what you saw, subscribe, like, or not, that's cool too. I will be back sometime soon with a stats video, and then after that it'll be about the time that college is starting for me, and hopefully I will be able to provide you guys with content about UMKC and their 6-year program. I hope all of you guys have a great day, and I'll see you for the next one.